The Powerpuff was one of our favorite childhood cartoons, and one of the things that stuck out to us the most was how evil the villains were. Some wanted to rule the world, some wanted revenge, and others just wanted to do what was best for them.
Each and every villain that was featured in the Powerpuff Girls had unique qualities, many of which were forms of social commentary implemented in a clever way.
I'm Future Gohan SSJ2.
And I'm MonstersReview, and today on Channel Frederator, we're counting down our top 10 most villainous villains from the Powerpuff Girls.
In this video, we'll pretend the reboot doesn't exist, and this will only include villains from the original series. Let's get started. Some of the villains we liked but weren't evil enough include the Amoeba Boys,
Rainbow the Clown,
the Broccoloids,
and Roach Coach.
Number 10. Fuzzy Lumpkins. Fuzzy Lumpkins is a large and lazy hillbilly-like character who doesn't like it when people or animals trespass onto his land. When he's angry, he can definitely be an intimidating villain.
His anger, shotgun, and banjo are all effective against anyone who disturbs him. While Fuzzy Lumpkins is a potential physical threat to the girls, his size and anger are really the only things he's got going for him.
As seen in the episode Fuzzy Logic, Buzzy doesn't have many malicious intentions, as he only wants to be left alone on his property, although he is seen teaming up with villains in later episodes.
He's lazy, and he's also been shown to have a bit of a lighthearted and innocent side, but that makes us like Fuzzy Lumpkins even more. Number 9. Gangrene Gang. The Gangrene Gang is a group of 5 troublemaking deviants who typically commit petty crimes for the Powerpuff Girls to clean up after. For example, in the episode Telephonies, the Gangrene Gang keeps prank calling people only to be stopped by Mojo Jojo, him, and Fuzzy Lumpkins, who happen to serve as anti-heroes.
Another episode called Butter Crush involves Buttercup developing a crush on the group's leader, Ace. Each member of the gang has different elements, and their pranks and petty crimes are adequate enough to really annoy people.
Most of the Gangrene Gang's crimes aren't that serious, usually involving harassment or vandalism, so overall they didn't cause that much damage to Townsville, but they're so much of a nuisance that the other villains had to get rid of them.
Number 8. The Smiths.
The Smiths might look like an average suburban family, but they're not. They're the Powerpuff Girls' next-door neighbors, and they have a strange obsession with how perfect the girls are.
What's interesting about the Smiths, compared to other villains, is that we can see a unique perspective on how the Powerpuff Girls affect the people of Townsville. Although the Smiths didn't end up being all that effective as villains, they desired revenge and had a lot of villainous intent towards the girls.
Number 7. Sedusa.
Sedusa is a villain inspired by the mythological character Medusa, who uses her seductive abilities to often manipulate men, and use her snake-like hair to fight. Her unique attributes, and the effectiveness of her manipulation tactics, are some of the reasons we like Sedusa.
Despite the fact that she is a main villain in a few episodes, she never really posed a physical threat to the girls or Townsville. In the episode Mommy Fearest, she was more of an emotional threat to the girls, in an attempt to turn the professor against them while not posing much physical danger.
Also, in the episode Something's Amiss, she is once again able to trick the girls by disguising herself, but this time as Miss Bellum, and she's able to restrain them with hair gel. However, she was ultimately defeated by Miss Bellum, as she's thrown into a pool, but is ineffective while her hair is wet?
If a supervillain can be constrained by the professor or get beat up by Miss Bellum, her credibility as a supervillain is diminished a bit. However, that's not to say she still isn't a good villain.
Number 6. Dick Hardly. Dick Hardly was the professor's former roommate from college, and man, he's just a... Oh, you can figure it out. Dick Hardly is the epitome of being a villain, since his only desire is making money.
As seen in the episode Knock It Off, the professor's refusal to let Dick make money off of the Powerpuff Girls led him to create his own versions of the girls called the Powerpuff Girls Extreme, which were deformed and disfigured. His love for money over his bootleg Powerpuff Girls is what led them to destroy him once and for all.
Despite appearing in only a single episode, Dick Hardly was actually a very powerful villain, as he came very close to defeating the Powerpuff Girls by extracting a lot of their chemical X. However, he wasn't a very smart character, since he copied off of the professor in college, so he had very limited abilities and intelligence as a result.
Number 5. Mojo Jojo. Mojo Jojo is a mutant chimpanzee that serves as the most recurring villain in the series. He was also the main villain of the Powerpuff Girls movie, where his plan almost succeeded.
His attempts at defeating the Powerpuff Girls and taking over Townsville and the world are always unsuccessful, although he has come close. He's willing to take out the Powerpuff Girls so bad that he dressed up as a girl named Mojisha and pretended to go to their school in order to get invited to their slumber party in the episode Slumbering with the Enemy.
Although Mojo can be menacing and ill-willed, the Powerpuff Girls wouldn't be who they are without him.
Number 4. The Rowdyruff Boys. The Rowdyruff Boys are male versions of the Powerpuff Girls. Unlike the PPG, who are made of sugar, spice, and everything nice, with a hint of Chemical X, Brick, Boomer, and Butch are composed of underarm snips, snails, a dog tail, and Chemical X from a prison toilet.
They're the creations of Mojo Jojo. However, they were resurrected by him in a later episode. The Rowdyruff Boys are equally as villainous as the Powerpuff Girls are heroic.
They share many of the same qualities as the other villains on this list, but the Rowdyruff Boys don't have a lot of morality. They are everything that the Powerpuff Girls are, except they're boys and are more masculine.
Number 3, Princess Morbucks. Princess Morbucks is a greedy child and spoiled brat. Her parents are rich, hence her last name, Morbucks.
She is obsessed with wanting to become a Powerpuff Girl, not for wanting a sense of camaraderie or doing good for Townsville, but rather the glory and fame that comes along with it. She's a character that you love to hate.
Even when she isn't fighting the Powerpuff Girls, she's also able to antagonize the girls at school. She's the only villain that actually attends their school, and she's a villain even when she's not a villain.
Whenever she has a problem, she attempts at solving it just by throwing her parents' money at it. Figuratively, of course, which is all she's really got going for her, but it kind of works. Number 2, him. Him is a very frightening and unusually feminine villain. He's one of the main villains of the show, and he has powers of size transformation and mind control.
Him is ruthless, and unlike most villains, he learns from his mistakes. He definitely has the potential to wreak havoc upon the world, as seen in the episode Speed Demon, where the Powerpuff Girls are sent into an alternate timeline 50 years in the future, where him destroys Townsville and enslaves the world.
Every time him appears as the main villain, he poses a threat, which in turn causes the girls to have to think even more to overcome him. Hence the physical resemblance. Him is the devil of the Powerpuff Girls universe. And what could be more villainous than the devil? Wait.
Number 1, the Gnome. The Gnome only appears once in a musical episode called See Me, Feel Me, Know Me, which never aired in the United States. He's a powerful gnome that uses his magic abilities to bring back Townsville after it's destroyed by villains, however, at the expense of the girls' powers.
He eventually becomes a figure of worship by the people of Townsville, which prompts the Powerpuff Girls to get rid of him. The Gnome is a total badass, and he's able to do a lot with his magical powers, such as strip the Powerpuff Girls of their powers and take over Townsville.
Unlike most of the other villains on this list, not only was the Gnome able to take over Townsville, but he was also able to rein the Powerpuff Girls under his power, which rendered them useless. Additionally, his actions and ideals are widely speculated to be based on aspects of communism.
The Gnome was only in one episode, and was able to accomplish a ton. Imagine what he could have done in several.
Thanks for checking out our list of the top 10 most villainous Powerpuff Girls villains.
Let us know your most villainous Powerpuff Girls villains in the comments.
If you liked this video, you may also like a recent Tooned Up that indulges into the pop culture references in the Powerpuff Girls. And perhaps you'll also like a video that future Gohan SSJ2 and I made about the quote-unquote death of Cartoon Network.
Also make sure to subscribe to our channels, Future Gohan SSJ2 and Monsters Review, and to check out Channel Frederator as well.
And remember, Frederator loves you.